RAKAKA.se, Anders here. We are here at IEM and I'm standing here together with Grubby. And I mean, let's start from the beginning. You were in the group play, you made it out. Tell us about the group play. Was there any match that was harder than any other? And I mean, what's your opinion on it?
Initially, all I knew was that I was with Snoot, Moonglade and Dream. And I thought all were pretty damn good, so I thought it was going to be pretty hard. And I also had a feeling that TLO would join the group. And usually when I have such feelings, even though it's completely random, like it's usually right, and then it was right. Tarzan, of course, was the punching bag of the group, but I still managed to lose a map, which meant that it would be very risky for me because I could lose by map score. And then, well, 3 Zergs. Infestor patch just hit, where infested Terrans don't get upgrades anymore, so I felt pretty good about it because I think I got a lot better at PvZ recently in Korea, and then add the patch as well, it would help me a lot. So I felt like I was going to win all the PvZs, but I ended up losing to Moonglade, who played quite different, and it made me like commit to like a really stupid attack. So in the end, it was going to be, I thought it was all going to be about me versus Dream, which wasn't such a good situation, and I ended up losing 2-0, and then I thought I was out. Like, I was like, well, shucks. I was really sad, like really disappointed. And then suddenly, then I thought like, okay, maybe if Moonglade beats TLO, I can be through. And then I looked at Liquipedia, the result wasn't there yet, so I was like, okay, hope, hope, hope. Then suddenly I hear Moonglade say to Cassandra, like, yeah, I already lost 0-2. I was like, no! And then I entered this black hole of sadness and looked at the score and saw I was 7-6, Moonglade 6-5. Then I was wondering, is that better? And apparently it is, so I passed, and for once luck was on my side with those little map things, and was pretty happy about that.
And I mean, you made it through the groups, and then you had to face Yoda. I mean, one of the best players here right now. What did you think when you saw you were going to play against him, and also when you played him? Tell us about the games.
At first I was like, oh no, why did I draw Yoda? And then I tried my damnedest to try and get away from that mentality, like to be completely okay with it and prepare as I do. So I try to prepare good builds and so on, but there's just too many gaps in my PvT play still, I think. And it will be my main goal for the coming few months, like to improve the matchup, because I feel like I keep going out of tournaments where there was more potential due to my PvT. And obviously he's a great guy. I mean, great player. I don't know him personally. He's a really good player. But still I felt like he was beatable for me, and I was pretty sure that he was going to lose to Parting too in the next round. Just like, I saw that I could win if I didn't make a series of crucial mistakes. Sounds kind of lame, but like I could see the key points where I lost out, where I felt like a better player like Parting would have done better. So I'm not surprised he lost to Parting, but for me it was a bad draw in that round.
Let's talk a little bit about your matchups. When we've been talking with some players here, they have really been mentioning your PvP especially, and I mean the way you have improved that matchup especially. Tell us about your PvP, and you mentioned also your PvT, but let's start with your PvP.
It goes back a long way to the second MLG of 2012, where I got seeded with Parting, Oz, Rain, one more Terran, Alive, and one more. It was an MLG where I lost everything, but being together with Oz and Parting and playing them in best of 3s, finally something clicked in PvP. Before that, I was one of the guys who says it's like coin flip and random and stuff. Then I realized there's a lot more to it, and ever since I've loved PvP as a matchup. I've loved to watch it, loved to play it, and I love to try and find ways how to win, and it's just been my favorite matchup, and I think I play it pretty well. But if I had to name one thing to still improve, it would be like micro, to be better at micro and like to react really quickly, because I feel like that's sometimes still why I could lose in like equal situations. Like for example today, Sokka against First, Sokka was coming with Phoenixes and First was defending with Sentry. So like the Phoenixes are gonna try and pick up the Sentries, but First was immediately like, what? You know, force fields, and then again, what? Like that kind of deadly precision, that is very important. So I need to try and factor that in too, because I think strategically my PvP is pretty good.
And you mentioned your goal the upcoming month is to improve your PvT especially. Tell us, how do you go about trying to improve that type of matchup?
That's a good question. I've been asking myself the same thing. I think the key is to try and like talk to other Protoss or Terran players, like try to help them and have them help me, because I need to understand a bit more knowledge. Like I can watch replays and I can copy builds, and typically the times where I've done well in PvT is just I have this predetermined build of Protoss versus Terran, which I saw in a replay, and I decide I'm gonna do this one, and I hope it's gonna like align well with what the opponent is doing, and not so much yet where do I position my army based on pure adaptation and experience. So I'm just following like a pattern, and in those games I've done well. But if the pattern doesn't fit the situation, it didn't work. So what I need is to cultivate in myself a kind of experience, a kind of feeling of what to do in what situation, and like a sense of timing as well. So I don't know how else I can do it, but just to play a lot of games, because like just watching VODs and replays isn't good enough anymore. I need to talk with players to have like a lot of there's like a lot of branch off things in PvT, like if you see this you do this, if you see this you do that, much more so than in PvP and PvZ. So I need experience in talking about it with people, and I need experience in playing it more, so that's how I'll try to do it.
And I think maybe you have a great opportunity to do just that, since you recently moved to Korea and moved into the FXO house. I mean, tell us, how is that all coming together, and I mean, what's your goal staying in the FXO house?
One of my goals is to try and help them as much as possible to like do well in GSTL, even if I'm just their practice partner. At the same time, try to learn as much StarCraft from them as possible in every matchup. There's a lot of people there with very good knowledge, but I want to carry my weight too. So I want to practice hard, do a lot by myself, but also talk with them and strategize, and help them too, because I have things to offer as well. So I've already learned a few things from them, like they've been really helpful, and also in PvT, like certain strategies and decisions I've already learned from like their players like Gumiho or Tyr, but there's still more time with them, so I still think we can carry each other to greater heights.
And I want to briefly just go into the GSL thing here.
Yeah.
It did not go as well as maybe some people would have hoped. Tell us about that night in Korea some time ago.
Yeah, well, I had like about 1 week to properly prepare, and it was quite like, I wouldn't say like I was pressured to the point where like I couldn't be 100% productive, but it was different from just practicing a week to try and up my overall level. I was doing that, but I was also constantly thinking about, is this the strategy that I'm going to be using in the up and downs? And even if I was laddering and I wasn't playing on the map that I was going to play my opponent on, I was still thinking like I should do the strategy that I'm planning to be doing. And it made me like not 100% focused on just trying to improve myself, like my overall fundamentals and adaptation, and more just trying to strategically like choose a good build order. And for me, it was still the best way to try and do it with the little time that it was given to me. Well, was given to me the little time that I just happened to have. But yeah, it was, no matter what, it was going to be a great challenge. And also the group that I had, I think was very strong. The other groups were strong too, but like I hope for a bit more Protosses, for example. It wasn't all bad. Like I didn't have to play on the maps which I've never played before, like Abyssal City and Belcher Vestige. But even Whirlwind PvP, like my lifetime record of playing PvP there was 2 games. So I had a lot of catching up to do, and yeah, I mean First, Dongreggu, they're all absolutely great players, and it was clear that I belonged at the bottom of the ranking just based on overall performance. But either way, it was like a really good experience because it was my first time playing GSL. A lot of different environment and feeling and everything. And even though I can try to get used to that quickly, it's still different. So yeah, it was a really good benchmark. Just in Korea, that's my benchmark. Okay, where do I take it from there? And that's okay.
Okay, and finally, I mean, you have been to so many events throughout your career, but tell us about the audience and the tournament here in Poland.
Yeah, I mean, apart from WCS Europe, this is like the most fantastic audience I've been at in terms of size and loudness over the last few years. Over my StarCraft years, like there have been other really enthusiastic crowds. IEM Singapore was amazing, but it was kind of a small crowd. They sounded louder, like it sounded like they were with more people than they really were. And there have been other great crowds, but just the sheer size of it here. I mean, you guys, you've probably seen the pictures, right? What is it, like 7,000, 10,000 people? It's insane, and it gives me goosebumps just looking at it. And even if they're cheering for League of Legends, just hearing that many people passionate about esports, I feel like that brings League and StarCraft even closer together. Just listening to that, it's amazing. I could just watch it for hours.
Do you still get somewhat nervous when you're up on the stage like that and so many people watching you?
Well, I'm a bit of an exhibitionist. Like I like to show my stuff when there's that many people. Not any like sexual stuff, but I like to show my game. Yeah. And with that many people, like I feel really empowered to try and do even better. And that it's something that I've cultivated. Like I think it makes me play better. I feel so excited to play in front of that many people.
All right. Final question. 2013 is coming up now. This was the first big tournament, but looking at the whole year, what's your plan? I mean, you're obviously going to stay in Korea right now, but other than that, are there any other event maybe? Could we maybe look forward to seeing you in Sweden, for example?
I'd love to if there's an opportunity. For now, like I'm gonna be in Europe for about 3 more weeks, and then I'll go back to Korea like mid-February. Until then, I have a few things that I'm doing, but I can't announce yet. And after that, March, there's like a lot of things going on, but I can't talk about any of it. It's so frustrating. So there's plenty of stuff for me on the horizon, and news will unfold itself as it does.
Well, good luck in the upcoming year then, and nice to talk to you.
Thanks very much.